In the endless darkness of space, a small alien scout ship drifted quietly. Its hull reflected the faint light of distant stars, and inside, the crew watched screens showing empty star lanes. No signals. No traffic. No signs of life. The galaxy had grown silent. Trade routes that once buzzed with activity now floated abandoned, like empty streets in a city long forgotten. Ancient empires, once proud and mighty, were quietly dying, their civilizations shrinking under the weight of time and fear. The captain of the scout ship, a slender blue-skinned alien with eyes like polished obsidian, tapped his claws on the control panel. "Something is wrong," he muttered, his voice trembling. "The stars, they are too quiet. Even the storms of Xylo Prime are gone." The crew exchanged worried glances. Silence in the galaxy was never good. For centuries, civilizations measured their survival by the noise of space. Trade signals, military patrols, and communication bursts. Now there was nothing. Just dark, cold emptiness stretching in all directions. Suddenly the ship's sensors flared red. Lights blinked rapidly. The captain froze. "What is that?" he whispered. The screen showed hundreds of bright dots moving fast. At first they seemed random, but then the pattern became clear. Ships, thousands of them, moving with perfect coordination, forming a line, then a triangle, then a massive V-shape. "They're too organized," the first officer said, fear creeping into his voice. "No alien fleet moves like this." The alien crew tried to send messages to nearby colonies. "Attention all systems, we are detecting an unknown fleet approaching," but their calls went unanswered. The stars were still silent. Panic began to rise. On the command planet of the Zarkan Empire, the High Council received the same reports. Screens lit up with images of hundreds of alien scout ships encountering the fleet. Every report was the same: humans. Massive human warfleets had arrived without warning. And they were coming fast. Council members shouted over each other. Some demanded immediate military response. "We must destroy them before they reach the inner systems," one elder cried. Others argued for caution. "Perhaps they come with peace. Perhaps they bring aid. We must communicate." But no one had the time. The humans moved faster than any fleet known to the galaxy. Their ships were unlike anything seen before, huge yet sleek, with hulls that shimmered like liquid metal. Energy shields glowed softly around them, and massive engines left trails of light that cut through the darkness like fire. The humans did not just arrive, they commanded the void. A mysterious voice spoke across the galaxy. Not human, not alien, but something ancient and observant. No one expected humans to arrive, and no one was ready. The voice echoed in hidden channels, reaching only those who listened carefully. It was a warning, a prophecy, and a question all at once. Why are the humans here? And what do they want? In the Zarkan Empire, fear turned into chaos. Messages to distant allies were sent, but few replied. Many worlds trembled at the news. Some prepared for war. Others sent pleas for mercy. Every species reacted differently, but all shared one thought: humans were not like us. They were stronger, faster, and somehow unstoppable. Meanwhile, the scout ship tried to keep up. From its tiny bridge, the crew could see the humans forming perfect formations, moving as if guided by a single mind. "They're communicating without signals," whispered the captain. "I've never seen anything like it." Back on the human warfleet, everything was calm. Commanders gave orders, but there was no shouting, no panic. Their movements were precise. Each ship knew its place, and every maneuver was perfect. They had no intention of destroying worlds unnecessarily. They came with power, yes, but also with purpose. The first alien worlds in the path of the fleet prepared defenses. Weapons charged. Fleets scrambled. Alerts blared across systems. And still, the humans approached silently, steadily, like a tide that cannot be stopped. The scout ship's captain made a decision. "We must follow them. We must understand. Perhaps they are our only hope." His crew nodded, fear and curiosity in their eyes. The humans moved closer to the first major system, a beautiful blue world with oceans that sparkled even from space. Aliens on the surface watched the sky and held their breath. Every sensor, every signal, every eye in the galaxy was on the humans now. Some feared annihilation. Some hoped salvation. And through the darkness, the human warfleet glided like a silent storm, powerful, organized, and impossible to ignore. As the stars themselves seemed to pause in anticipation, one thought spread through every species who could sense it: the galaxy had changed. Forever. The humans had arrived. And no one knew why. The human Warfleet moved through the galaxy with a calm, unstoppable force. Millions of kilometers of empty space passed beneath their engines, but not a single ship slowed. Alien worlds trembled as they watched this immense armada approach, their screens showing thousands of vessels moving in perfect synchronization. It was not chaos nor disorder, it was harmony, a single entity moving as one. On the planet Varnes, in the heart of the Illyrian Empire, alarms rang through the capital city. Citizens stared at the skies as enormous shapes blotted out the stars. Thousands of warships, their metal glinting even from the surface, moved toward the planet in patterns that defied logic. Scientists, soldiers, and politicians rushed to understand this sudden arrival. "They are humans?" whispered one scholar. His voice trembled. "We thought they were legends." Legends indeed. Tales of humanity's power had passed through whispers in distant systems. Some believed humans had remained small and insignificant, confined to their star system. Others told stories of human cunning, bravery, and technology far beyond any alien civilization. Now there was no doubt. Humans were real and they had arrived. The Illyrian Council scrambled to prepare an official greeting. Communications officers tried to send signals in every language they knew. "We come in peace," the message read. "Identify yourselves. State your intentions." But there was no response, only silence. The humans did not reply through traditional communication channels. Their ships moved closer, scanning the planet with precision instruments that alien technology could not detect. From a small observation station above the planet, a young Illyrian officer looked at the data streaming in. "They are not attacking," he said, a mix of relief and fear in his voice. "At least, not yet." Yet the tension in the room was palpable. The humans could destroy the planet in minutes if they wanted. Their weapons were unmatched, and their technology was alien even to the galaxy's most advanced species. Suddenly, a massive human ship entered orbit. Its hull shimmered like liquid silver, and massive energy shields glowed faintly around it. It was enormous, tens of kilometers long, but sleek and graceful. From its bridge, humans observed the planet with quiet calculation. No shouting, no chaos, just the calm authority of those who had faced countless challenges and survived. The Alien Council debated furiously. "Send our fleet. Destroy them before they land," one general shouted. "Wait. Perhaps they come to offer help," countered another. "They wouldn't need to come here if they only wanted war." Fear and hope warred in the council chamber. Every species felt the same uncertainty. Humans were unpredictable and no one had ever seen a fleet like this. Meanwhile, humans began deploying smaller observation crafts to scan the planet. They moved carefully without aggression, mapping the surface, analyzing the atmosphere, and studying the world's defenses. Aliens watched in awe. Humans were strong, yes, but their restraint surprised everyone. They did not strike. They did not demand surrender. They simply observed. On Varnes, citizens whispered as they watched the massive ships hover silently above. Children pointed at the skies and elders held their breath. Some prayed, some panicked, but everyone knew the same truth. Their world would never be the same again. Humans had arrived. And their presence alone changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The human commander, a tall figure in a sleek uniform, addressed his crew calmly. "We are here to protect the galaxy," he said. "Not to conquer it. Show them our strength but also show them our purpose. Let them know humans do not strike without reason." His words were clear, confident, and carried a weight that resonated even through sensors and screens across the planet. Alien leaders began tentative communications again. This time humans responded, not through words but through actions. They moved in patterns that communicated intentions. No weapons were pointed directly at the planet and observation drones hovered peacefully in orbit. Slowly, tension eased, replaced by curiosity. Aliens began to realize something. Humans were not just powerful, they were smart, disciplined, and controlled. Still, fear remained. The humans' presence was overwhelming. Even the most experienced commanders in the Illyrian fleet admitted they had never seen anything like it. Their own fleets, once proud and feared, now seemed small, fragile, and disorganized in comparison. The humans were more than just a military force. They were a symbol of what the galaxy could become if united, and a reminder of what could be lost if divided. A young alien pilot, watching from a nearby station, whispered to his companion, "They are not just here to fight. They are here to teach, or to warn." His friend nodded silently. Both felt a mixture of awe and terror. The humans' actions were deliberate, their intentions unclear, but their power undeniable. As night fell on Varnes, the human warfleet remained in orbit. Lights glowed softly from their hulls, casting reflections across the planet's oceans and deserts. From the surface, it looked like the stars themselves had come down to watch. The galaxy held its breath. For the first time in centuries, a single thought ran through every mind that could sense it: the humans were here. And whatever came next, no one would forget it. The human Warfleet hovered silently in the outer reaches of the galaxy. From afar, alien worlds watched with a mix of fear and fascination. No one had seen a force like this before. Their ships were not only massive but precise, moving in perfect formations as if guided by a single mind. The presence of humanity had changed everything. Yet even as the aliens watched, the humans' true purpose had not yet been revealed. On the bridge of the flagship, Commander Elias stood calmly, his eyes scanning holographic maps of distant star systems. Around him, officers analyzed readings of alien technology, enemy movements, and unknown threats lurking beyond the known space lanes. Elias' expression remained steady. Humans did not rush, but neither did they wait. They had come with a reason. A very serious reason. Meanwhile, on a distant alien world, the Illyrian Council continued their debates. Messages had been sent, calls for peace and communication had been made, and now the humans were ready to speak. A communication channel opened, but the message was not for negotiation. It was a warning. A human envoy appeared in a holographic projection over the council chamber. The envoy's voice was calm, steady, and authoritative. "The galaxy faces a threat," they said. "A force moves through the stars, consuming every world in its path. We call them the Devourers. They leave nothing behind: no life, no fleets, no civilizations. Entire star systems are gone, erased in moments you cannot even imagine." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Few could believe the words. Star systems wiped out? Entire civilizations destroyed? Some council members refused to accept it. "This must be exaggeration. No enemy is that powerful," one elder shouted. But humans had proof. Sensors, records, even remnants of planets that had been reduced to dust, all displayed before the council. The evidence was irrefutable. The Devourers were real. And they were coming closer. The envoy continued, showing a map of the galaxy. Red dots blinked, representing worlds already lost. Lines stretched outward, tracking the movement of the Devourers. "We cannot fight them alone," the human said. "No single civilization can. If you wish to survive, you must unite. Prepare your fleets, coordinate your defenses, and trust each other. We will help, but only if you stand together." Fear and tension gripped the council. Many species had never cooperated before. Ancient grudges, territorial disputes, and centuries-old wars had kept the galaxy divided. Now, facing annihilation, all those conflicts seemed insignificant. But unity was hard to achieve. Could they truly trust humans? Could they trust each other? Outside, alien citizens watched the human ships moving methodically. Drones scanned the atmosphere, analyzing minerals, energy signatures, and possible threats. Humans were calm, almost serene in their purpose. Yet the silent presence of the fleet carried a powerful message. Humans were not just visitors, they were guardians in the face of something far worse. The Illyrian Council sent their youngest diplomat to speak with the humans directly. She arrived aboard a human observation ship, small and sleek, dwarfed by the massive flagship. Inside, the crew welcomed her without ceremony, showing respect and confidence. Commander Elias addressed her. "You must understand," he said gently. "The Devourers will not negotiate. They will not stop. They do not care about your alliances or histories. Only the united strength of civilizations can stand against them." The diplomat nodded, overwhelmed. Her world had faced threats before, but nothing like this. Nothing had ever moved through the stars like the Devourers, consuming everything in their path. "How can we fight them?" she asked. "Our fleets are scattered. Our weapons, they are not enough." Elias smiled faintly, though his eyes remained serious. "We have a plan," he said. "But it requires trust. Every fleet, every planet, every species must contribute. You must fight together, or the Devourers will leave nothing behind. The galaxy will fall. And it will not rise again for 1,000 cycles." The diplomat returned to her council, carrying the humans' warning. Alien leaders debated late into their nights. Some species agreed immediately, fearful of destruction. Others hesitated, clinging to old rivalries and distrust. But the humans' message was clear. Time was running out. Every second wasted allowed the Devourers to move closer. Every delay meant more stars, more civilizations disappearing forever. On the bridge of the flagship, humans prepared for the next phase. Smaller fleets were sent to gather allies, communicate with distant species, and demonstrate the strength of coordination. Drones recorded and transmitted the scale of the threat across light years, ensuring that no civilization would remain ignorant. Even as fear spread, hope also began to grow. Alien fleets, once fractured and weak, now began tentative preparations. Some sent emissaries to the humans, offering ships, knowledge, and resources. Humans accepted without arrogance, teaching, coordinating, and inspiring. Slowly, the galaxy realized that survival was possible, but only if it could overcome its divisions. Yet, in the darkest corners of space, the Devourers continued their approach, unaware of the humans or the alliances forming. They moved like a shadow, consuming everything in silence, a relentless force beyond comprehension. And the galaxy had only one chance to stop them. One chance, and it rested with humans. As the stars blinked in the cold expanse, one truth became undeniable: the humans were not here by accident. They were here to warn, to lead, and perhaps to save the galaxy itself. But whether the alien species would listen, or fall too late, was a question that hung over every world like a shadow. The galaxy held its breath. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. Their fleets were not only powerful, but organized in ways that no alien species could fully understand. Yet the humans were not here to conquer. They were here to unite. And the first step was gathering allies. From the bridge of the flagship, Commander Elias studied holographic maps of dozens of star systems. "We cannot fight the Devourers alone," he said to his officers. "We must bring every civilization together. Every fleet, every planet counts." His voice was calm, but the weight of the task was clear. Small human vessels were sent to distant systems, carrying diplomats, scientists, and military advisors. The goal was not just to impress with power, but to communicate, explain, and inspire. Some species welcomed the humans immediately, awed by their strength and confident leadership. Others hesitated, wary of outsiders. Centuries of mistrust ran deep, and many aliens feared humans might secretly be conquerors. On the planet Xylo Prime, a proud warrior species had long resisted alliances. Their fleets were strong, but they had fought endless wars against neighbors. Now they watched as humans arrived, not with weapons raised, but with calm authority. A human envoy met their council and spoke plainly: "The Devourers will not stop for pride. They will consume every world. Stand with us, or your people may be gone before you even see them coming." The council argued for days. Some wanted to attack humans on sight, claiming it was a trap. Others argued that survival mattered more than pride. Finally, a compromise was reached. Xylo Prime would contribute ships and resources, but only on its own terms. The humans accepted. They knew unity required patience, negotiation, and respect. Meanwhile, other species responded faster. The aquatic race of Vertalis sent fleets immediately, impressed by humans' discipline and clarity. The crystalline beings of Terran Prime offered knowledge of advanced energy shields. Slowly, the galaxy began to awaken, forming a coalition that had never existed before. Humans also taught tactics, technology, and coordination. Alien fleets, once disorganized and inefficient, began to operate like a single entity. Formation flying, energy synchronization, and rapid communication became second nature under human guidance. For the first time, aliens felt the possibility of surviving the coming storm. Yet the process was not without conflict. Some species refused to cooperate. Rogue fleets moved independently, ignoring warnings, driven by pride or fear. Small skirmishes occurred, but humans did not respond with overwhelming force. Instead, they demonstrated strategic discipline, blocking aggressive fleets, neutralizing threats without unnecessary destruction, and showing the power of unity without cruelty. On the planet Varnes, citizens watched human advisors train local defense forces. Alien pilots learned new formations. Engineers learned new methods for powering shields and weapons. Even ordinary citizens were inspired by the humans' determination. The message was clear: survival required effort, cooperation, and courage. In private, Commander Elias spoke to his officers. "The Devourers do not care about old rivalries. They will not ask permission. If we fail to unite these species, we fail the galaxy." His words were not dramatic, but they carried the weight of truth. Everyone on the bridge understood that the stakes were higher than anything the galaxy had ever faced. Despite the fear, hope grew. Ships once isolated in distant sectors now moved toward each other. Signals, codes, and alliances formed across thousands of light years. Alien civilizations that had never trusted each other now shared technology, resources, and strategies. The humans acted as both organizers and mediators, their calm authority keeping tensions in check. Even small contributions mattered. Some species offered raw materials, others contributed intelligence about devourer movements. Scouts mapped distant sectors. Engineers built advanced defensive stations. Every action, no matter how minor, strengthened the coalition. The humans knew that survival depended not just on their own fleets, but on the combined power and coordination of every species willing to fight. Yet shadows lingered. The devourers continued their slow, unstoppable march. Entire systems vanished without warning. Reports reached the coalition constantly, a reminder of the threat approaching faster than anyone could imagine. The humans' urgency was palpable, but they remained calm. Their leadership inspired both fear and respect in equal measure. At night, on planets watching from the surface, citizens whispered to one another. "Can we really survive?" they asked. "Do the humans truly understand this threat?" The answer, at least for now, seemed hopeful. Humans were not just fighters, they were teachers, leaders, and organizers. They brought a rare gift to the galaxy: unity. As fleets gathered and species joined together, a pattern emerged. Where there had been division, there was now cooperation. Where there had been fear, hope flickered. The galaxy was learning the human way: discipline, strategy, and the courage to stand together. The call to arms was not yet complete. Many worlds had yet to join. But for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt a chance, however small, to survive. Humans had arrived, and now the seeds of resistance against the devourers were being planted. The galaxy held its breath once more, but this time, there was a spark of hope in the darkness. The galaxy had united under the guidance of humans, but peace was fleeting. In the darkness beyond the outer systems, the devourers waited. Their approach was silent but deadly. No messages, no signals, only the cold, unstoppable advance of a force that consumed everything. The first confrontation was inevitable. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes scanning holographic displays. The combined fleet of humans and allied species stretched across the void, thousands of ships arranged in tight formations. Alien commanders followed the human lead, their confidence growing under careful instruction. "This is it," Elias said quietly. "The devourers are here. Every ship, every weapon counts." Across the battlefield, the devourers emerged from the void. Their ships were unlike any known technology. Dark, irregular, and massive, they moved as if alive, consuming energy from nearby stars to power themselves. A single glance at their approach sent shivers through even the most experienced alien officers. "They are not machines," whispered one Illyrian captain. "They are predators." The first shots rang out in the cold expanse. Devourer energy tendrils lanced toward the Allied fleet. Shields flared, absorbing impact after impact. Humans coordinated the defense with perfect timing. Formation Delta 3. Focus on the lead ships. Elias commanded. Human pilots executed maneuvers that seemed impossible to alien eyes, dodging energy blasts, counterattacking in synchronized waves, and protecting weaker Allied ships. The battle was chaotic yet controlled. Alien fleets, once scattered, now moved as one under human direction. Vortalis cruisers fired torpedoes in perfect arcs, while Xylo Prime fighters circled strategically to block devourer flanks. Humans demonstrated how strategy and discipline could turn even desperation into power. On the flagship's observation deck, a young alien officer gasped. "They fight like one mind," he said. "Every movement is calculated. No hesitation. No mistakes." Beside him, his mentor nodded solemnly. "This is why they are here. Not to conquer us, but to save us, if we survive." Despite the human leadership, the devourers were terrifyingly adaptable. Their energy beams shifted patterns, avoiding traps. Their massive hulls regenerated almost instantly after hits. Every alien ship that fell or was damaged reminded the coalition how deadly the enemy truly was. Fear rippled through the fleet. "We may not survive this," muttered a Xylo Prime pilot. But humans did not falter. Smaller human squads moved into dangerous positions, drawing devourer fire away from Allied ships. Explosive maneuvers disabled the enemy's energy sources without destroying entire vessels. They fought with efficiency, precision, and a determination that inspired all who watched. Meanwhile, human engineers aboard the flagship monitored systems, repairing shields and weapons almost instantly. Holographic projections displayed devourer weak points, shared across the fleet. Alien commanders followed these instructions, hitting the enemy in coordinated strikes. Slowly the tide began to turn. Yet victory was not complete. Devourer reinforcements emerged from dark sectors, even larger and more terrifying than the first wave. Entire squadrons were destroyed before reaching the main fleet. The humans and their allies realized this was not a battle. They were only scratching the surface of the enemy's true power. In a desperate move, Commander Elias ordered a focused attack on the Devourer lead ships. Humans and aliens fired together, concentrating energy beams, missiles and torpedoes on a single target. The massive Devourer vessel shuddered, its defenses breaking under coordinated assault. For a moment, hope flared across the coalition. But the battle was far from over. The Devourers adapted quickly. Smaller ships swarmed the flanks. Energy tendrils moved unpredictably. One Devourer vessel collided with a Vortalis cruiser, reducing it to debris. Panic threatened to spread, but human leaders kept order. Calm, precise commands ensured the fleet held formation. During the chaos, individual acts of bravery shone. An Illyrian fighter pilot saved a human vessel from destruction, dodging enemy fire at the last second. A Vortalis engineer repaired a critical shield generator while under attack. The humans inspired not only leadership but courage, showing the galaxy that unity and discipline could overcome fear. Hours passed like days. Explosions lit the void, fires danced across shields and countless ships fell on both sides. Slowly the Devourers began to retreat, damaged but not destroyed. The combined fleet held, battered but alive. For the first time, the galaxy saw that survival against this enemy was possible, but only with unity, strategy, and courage. The flagship's bridge was silent. Officers looked at the stars, battered ships, and distant explosions. Elias spoke softly, "Today we survived. But the Devourers are not defeated. They will return stronger. We must prepare. The galaxy must stand together, or this victory will be our last." On distant worlds, citizens cheered. The coalition had held. The humans had led, taught, and inspired. Yet, in the darkness beyond, the Devourers waited. Their cold, relentless hunger had been slowed, but not stopped. The first battle had been won, but the war was only beginning. As the fleet regrouped, a quiet thought echoed across every ship, in every species' mind: humans were not just fighters, they were leaders. And if the galaxy had any chance to survive, it would be because humans had arrived, and because the galaxy had finally begun to stand together. After the first battle, the galaxy had survived, but only barely. The Devourers had been slowed, but their advance continued relentlessly. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the flagship, staring at the holographic map of the galaxy. Red blips marked the Devourers' path. Many stars had already fallen. Entire civilizations were gone. The threat was closer than ever, and the humans knew that a single mistake could destroy everything. "We cannot face them directly again," Elias said to his officers. "They are too strong. We need a plan that uses every strength of every allied species." Around him, officers nodded. Humans had already begun coordinating with alien fleets, designing a strategy that no single species could execute alone. It required precision, timing, and trust. A true test of the galaxy's ability to unite. The plan was risky. Humans would act as the spearhead, drawing the Devourers' attention and energy toward a trap. Alien fleets would flank from multiple directions, using terrain, gravitational fields, and new technology to corner the enemy. Energy shields would be synchronized to absorb the Devourers' destructive force, and coordinated strikes would target the enemy's weak points. Failure could mean total annihilation. Across the galaxy, alien leaders hesitated. Centuries of mistrust and old grudges resurfaced. "How can we trust humans?" whispered one Terran diplomat. "They may lead us into death." But others argued, "They are the only ones who can unite us. If we hesitate, the Devourers will leave nothing." Slowly, the will to fight began to override fear. On the front lines, human pilots trained alien crews in complex maneuvers. Xylo Prime fighters learned to move in unison with Vortalis cruisers. Crystalline beams of Terran Prime were calibrated to support energy shields. Every fleet learned to act as one, coordinated not by orders alone, but by understanding the human way: discipline, focus, and precise timing. Then came the first sacrifices. In the outer systems, a small coalition fleet volunteered to delay the Devourers' advance. They engaged the enemy alone, buying time for the main forces to prepare. Their ships were destroyed, their crews lost. But their actions allowed millions of lives to survive in other systems. Human commanders marked their courage with honor, reminding everyone that survival required bravery and selflessness. The sacrifices were not just military. Engineers, scientists, and medics risked their lives to repair damaged ships in space under constant threat. Civilians volunteered to maintain critical stations, work on power cores and transport supplies. Humans led by example, showing that even in despair, courage and unity could create hope. Commander Elias gathered the fleet in orbit of a critical system. "The trap is ready," he said. "Every species must perform exactly as planned. Timing is everything. One mistake and we lose everything." His calm voice belied the tension in the room. Officers checked weapons, shields, and navigation systems. Every crew member knew the cost of failure. As the Devourers approached, the Allied fleets moved into position. Humans led the formation, drawing the enemy toward the center of the trap. Alien ships fanned out, holding flanks and preparing concentrated attacks. The silence before the storm was deafening. Every sensor scanned the void. Every eye, human and alien alike, watched the darkness. The first clash was brutal. Devourer energy tendrils tore through empty space, striking at ships and stations. Explosions lit the void. Ships fell in seconds, swallowed by darkness. Yet, human coordination held the fleet together. Shields were raised at the exact moment. Alien fighters executed maneuvers perfectly timed with human squadrons. Every loss was felt deeply, but every victory inspired courage. At the heart of the trap, the humans targeted the Devourer's weak points. Energy beams, torpedoes, and missiles struck in precise sequences. The Devourers reacted, adapting, but human strategy anticipated these changes. Alien fleets reinforced the attacks, following the human lead. Sacrifice was everywhere. Ships were lost, lives were gone, but slowly the Devourers began to falter. In the middle of the chaos, a human captain gave orders with quiet authority. "Protect the weaker ships. Focus on the enemy's center. Timing is everything." His calm voice guided hundreds of ships across multiple systems. Human strategy turned fear into confidence. Alien crews began to trust their new allies completely, realizing that survival depended on acting together. Hours passed like years. Explosions rocked space. Ships glowed and burned. Lives were lost, yet the Devourers were weakening. The trap, painstakingly prepared, was working. The combined force of humans and allied civilizations showed the galaxy what unity could achieve. They were not invincible, but they were stronger together than any species alone. When the battle finally paused, both fleets had suffered tremendous losses. Many alien ships lay in ruins and human vessels bore scars from relentless combat. Yet, the Devourers had been forced to retreat, slowed and contained for now. The galaxy had survived another day. Commander Elias looked across the stars, his face solemn. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The Devourers will return. We must learn, adapt, and be ready. Today we survived because we stood together. Tomorrow we may need to sacrifice even more." On distant planets, citizens mourned the fallen but celebrated survival. Humans had led the galaxy not with fear, but with courage, discipline, and strategic brilliance. They had taught the meaning of sacrifice and the power of unity. And through every loss, one truth became clear: the human way could inspire hope even in the darkest hours. The galaxy was alive but fragile. The war was far from over. And the Devourers were still out there, waiting, growing hungry. The battle against the Devourers had changed the galaxy forever. Systems once lost to fear were now rebuilt with hope. Allied fleets repaired their ships, restored defenses, and tended to the wounded. Entire civilizations had learned a lesson they could never forget. Alone, they were weak. Together, and with humans guiding them, they were strong. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking out across the void. The Devourers had been driven back, weakened for now, but they were far from gone. The humans had led the fight, but the galaxy had followed. Alien fleets, once fragmented and suspicious of one another, now moved in perfect coordination, their trust forged in fire and sacrifice. On the planet Varnes, citizens watched the human ships hovering above their skies. Children pointed in awe. Elders whispered prayers of gratitude. The humans had not demanded obedience. They had not conquered worlds or enslaved species. Instead, they had shown the galaxy a new path: unity, courage, and discipline. The High Council of the Illyrian Empire sent emissaries to the humans. They bowed deeply before Commander Elias and the other human leaders. "We honor you," they said. "Your presence saved our people. Your leadership has given us hope we have never known." Elias nodded humbly. "We did not do this to be honored," he replied. "We did it because the galaxy needed to survive. Stand together. Protect one another. That is how you ensure your future." Across the galaxy the story was the same. Alien fleets held memorials for the fallen, repaired damaged worlds, and began forming permanent alliances. The humans had inspired a new era. For the first time in centuries, species that had once fought endlessly now worked together, sharing technology, intelligence, and resources. Even the Devourers, lurking in the darkness beyond known space, had been given a clear message. The galaxy would not fall quietly. It would not be easy to destroy. Every civilization had learned to fight, to coordinate, and to endure. Humans had taught them, but it was the galaxy itself that had risen to the challenge. And yet, despite the victories, humans remained vigilant. They knew the Devourers were clever, adaptable, and patient. Today the galaxy was safe. Tomorrow the enemy could return stronger. The human Warfleet did not linger unnecessarily. They had accomplished their mission, to unite the galaxy and show what coordinated courage could achieve. Before leaving the Allied systems, Commander Elias addressed the assembled fleet. "We will remain in orbit for observation," he said, "but the galaxy now stands on its own. You are stronger than you believe. You have survived when you could have fallen. Remember what you have learned and protect each other. The Devourers will return. When they do, you will be ready." The humans left the system quietly. Their massive ships glided into hyperspace, disappearing into the darkness. On the planets below, aliens watched the stars where the humans had been. There was awe, gratitude, and something else: understanding. Humans had arrived not to rule but to guide. The galaxy had been given a second chance. And as the systems celebrated survival, whispers spread across the stars. The humans, they do not fight like anyone else. They are clever, disciplined, and brave. They are different. Children repeated the stories in schools. Adults told tales of courage and sacrifice. Every species understood the same truth: humanity had changed the galaxy forever. But even in moments of triumph there was a shadow. Distant systems flickered. Unseen sectors remained unexplored. The Devourers had been delayed, weakened, but they had not been destroyed. The galaxy knew they might return, hungrier and stronger than before. This uncertainty cast a subtle tension across celebrations, a reminder that vigilance was eternal. In the void, human ships moved in formation, their lights reflecting across the stars like a silent promise. "We will be ready," Elias said quietly to his officers. "If the Devourers return, we will face them. And the galaxy will stand with us." On distant worlds, alien leaders knelt, not in fear but in respect. They had witnessed strength tempered with wisdom, power guided by discipline, courage accompanied by unity. The humans had arrived, led the galaxy through its darkest hour, and then left it stronger than before. The galaxy had survived. For now. And somewhere in the shadows between stars, the Devourers waited. Silent, patient, relentless. But the humans had left a mark, and the galaxy had learned a lesson. When civilizations unite, guided by courage and strategy, even the darkest threats can be challenged. The stars shimmered. The fleets rebuilt. The galaxy had a chance to endure. And humanity stood ready.